So if, like me, you're into your camping and outdoors, you've probably noticed just how expensive the gear's getting at the moment. So here in the UK, we're going through a cost of living crisis at the moment. Everything's going up in price, from your mortgage, your energy bills, even the food that we eat. And following suit is your camping gear, tents, stoves, backpacks. So in this video, I thought I'd share a few ideas on how you can save a bit of money on your camping gear. So to give a little bit of perspective, about 4 or 5 years ago, I bought a Hilleberg Solo, which was a top of the range expedition tent. So at the time it cost me around £560 brand new, but when I looked this morning it's now 865 quid. So don't get me wrong, Hillebergs are superb tents. They're really well made and you can use them in pretty much Everest conditions. But for most of us here in the UK, we don't really need a tent that is that high spec. Just look at these blue skies, tiny bit of breeze. If you're camping in these kind of conditions, you can get away with very basic equipment. So the first thing that I can suggest to save a bit of money is don't buy something that you don't really need. So if you're the sort of person that goes camping in the summer only in really good conditions, you don't need a high spec tent that is going to be super resistant in winds, going to be able to take snow loads. So you don't need to go buying Arctic ready gear if you're only going to be camping in little hills in the UK in the summer. So staying on the theme of tents, there are lots of other things you can do to save a few quid. Keep an eye out for special offers and discount codes. For example, if you're in the market for a Terra Nova or a Wild Country tent, they often have special promotions and discount codes. I've got a discount code, Paul M20, where you'll get 20% off all full price Terra Nova and Wild Country stuff. Tents like the Wild Country Helm 1, I've been singing their praises now for a couple of years. I've seen them standing strong in 50-mile-an-hour winds alongside the more expensive Hillebergs. But other manufacturers and retailers have similar deals on all the time. I was in Go Outdoors yesterday and saw they've got the Raccoon 2 down to £75 at the moment from 280. And if you have a look on their website or in store and use the code ALL15, you get another 15% off pretty much all the camping stuff at the moment. The one caveat to making savings at Go Outdoors is you really need the discount card. It does cost £5 for 12 months, but really well worth the money. But the biggest saver for me at Go Outdoors is their price match promise. Just show you this sleeping pad. So this is the Cedar Summit Comfort Light. Unfortunately, they don't sell that at Go Outdoors anymore, but they do sell the next model down and the next model up, the insulated light and the Comfort Plus. So I had a look this morning on their website. The Comfort Plus is £159. But if you shop around online and then go to Go Outdoors, they will beat any price that you can find in the UK by 10%. So I found the Comfort Plus this morning on a website called Wild Bounds for £149.95. So if you go into the Go Outdoors store, show them this on your phone, they will beat it by 10%. So you'd get the Comfort Plus for £134.95, and that would make it the cheapest price anywhere in the UK. They do this on pretty much any website. I don't think they price match Amazon though, for some reason. Just to be clear, I've got no affiliation or association with Go Outdoors. I just use them because it saves me money this way. Right, so the next thing that I can suggest for saving a few quid is to buy things secondhand. Places like Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace are a brilliant resource for picking up really good quality gear at a low price. So this is one of my more expensive backpacks. I think it's about £265 new. Custom made, so you're paying for somebody to hand stitch everything for you. But this morning I went on Facebook Marketplace and saw a low alpine 60-litre backpack for £30 in good condition. Now it's not custom made, but it's still really good quality gear. So if you're on a budget, buying those kind of things are a no-brainer. I also had a look and there's loads of one-man and two-man tents on Facebook Marketplace and on Gumtree. You just have to look around for bargains. And the great thing is you don't always have to pay the asking price, just make them an offer. Sometimes you can save even more money. So that £30 backpack you might get for 20 or 25. So before we move on, a quick thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring the video today. We use Squarespace for our own website and I've done so for a couple of years now. So we chose it because we've got no idea when it comes to web design or coding. And Squarespace has ready-made templates that all you have to do is upload your own photos, add some text, and then within a couple of hours, you've got a website. So we use it to sell our Messner branded products. The platform takes care of all the payments for us. So all we've got to do is post stuff. There's a full dashboard of features and analytics so you can keep track of your stock and see where the traffic's coming from to your website using the analytics. And the built-in SEO means that now we rank in Google, and it's also helped promote the YouTube channel. So if you want a place to do business online, or you just want to share things like your photos and blogs, click the link in the description below, or head over to squarespace.com/Paul Messner. You'll get a totally free trial and 10% off your first purchase. So while it's in my head, let's go back to sleeping pads for a minute. So this one, it's about 150 pounds new. You can pay well over 200 pounds now for the top of the range Thermarests, and they are really comfortable. And these things that cost more money, they do tend to be better, but when you get them, you sometimes think, why is it 200 odd pound for just a little bit of plastic that you can blow air into? So you can buy cheaper inflatable mats. They don't tend to have as good at insulation, but you can bump that up quite cheaply by using a closed cell foam mat underneath. You can just use one of these mats on their own, but they're obviously not as comfortable. But even this is 40-50 pounds now at the moment for a little bit of foam. If you go into Decathlon, or even sometimes places like Home Bargains, you can buy these kind of things from £5 sometimes for a foam mat. I think the Decathlon ones like these at Concertina, they're about £15-20, but it's still a big saving on the Thermarest one. And at the end of the day, it is just a bit of foam. So the Thermarest isn't going to be twice as good as the Decathlon one. So if you buy a cheap inflatable pad that doesn't have any insulation in it, you can just stick a cheap one of these underneath it, and that will just bump up the insulation value. So you'll get away with sleeping on a much cheaper kit in total. It'll still keep you warm, but the cheaper stuff tends to be bulkier, so you might have to strap it on the outside of your pack. Right, let's talk sleeping bags and quilts. So I haven't brought a sleeping bag with me. This is the Thermarest Vespa quilt. Really lightweight, it's about 500 grams, 900 filled down in there. The biggest bugbear for me with quilts is they're easier to make than a sleeping bag. Yeah, because they're popular and trendy at the moment, seem to be more expensive than bags. I don't get why. This is about £350, but there are cheaper alternatives out there. First thing you can do that is much cheaper if you want a quilt is to just use your sleeping bag and open it up. So unzip it and then just pull it over you like a quilt. I've done that many times. In fact, I do that most of the time when I use a sleeping bag, just because I don't like the restriction of being zipped up in a bag. There are other brands out there. The Sierra Designs Nitro, that's about nearly half the price of this. They also do an Elemental synthetic one, which is about £150, I believe. I'll drop links to everything that I'm talking about in the description below if you want to check them out anyway. For me personally, a sleeping bag or quilt is something that I would rather buy new. You can have them professionally cleaned as well, so, or you can stick them in the washing machine yourself. Just personal preference, I guess. But when it comes to sleeping bags, I definitely recommend you shop around. So a lot of camping equipment that's got some kind of logo or brand on it, sometimes you're paying a little bit of a premium. I get that they're still quality products, but for example, the Rab Neutrino 600, I've got that sleeping bag. It is superb, really well made, and it keeps me warm down to around -6 degrees, and that is the EN certified comfort rating on that bag. But it costs around £340, whereas you could get the Alp Kit Pipe Dream 400 for around £240, so that is nearly £100 cheaper. It's got the Alp Kit comfort rating of -6, but an EN rating of -4.2, so there's 2 degrees difference for £100. The Alp Kit actually weighs less. Both have got treated moisture resistant down in them, so very good quality bags, the pair of them. The Rab is probably a little more premium, however they will both do exactly the same job, and if you want to save £100, look at the Alpkit one. If down insulation is not your thing, synthetic's even cheaper. However, it is a little bit bulkier and a little bit heavier normally. I used to really like the Snug Pack synthetic bags, but in recent couple of years I think the quality on those has dropped a little bit. That's just my opinion. But all of the top brands and some of the more budget ones like OEX will all have a variety of sleeping bags for different budgets. But please be wary of the comfort or warmth ratings that they're stating on these bags. Make sure that you get them from a reputable brand that has got an official EN rating for the comfort rating of the bag. There's many companies selling sleeping bags and pads on places like Amazon, and some of the claims that they're making about these ratings are just way off the mark. If you can get a sleeping pad for 20-30 pounds that claims to be Thermarest spec, then well, it's not going to be really. Let's have a look at stoves. So you don't actually need to take a stove. You could save your money, take a sandwich or pack lunch with you. So these all-in-one jet boil style stoves, they're really good because you get the burner with them, the pot. They do tend to have a heat sink along the bottom, which makes boil times really quick, and they're efficient on gas. But you can pay well over £100 for something like that, and there are much cheaper alternatives out there. Check out my video of the OEX Hero stove, which is a competitor to Jetboil, but it's only £45, and it actually beat the Jetboil when it came to boil times. I've also used the Alpkit Brew Kit, which is a similar sort of compact stove. Also very good for the money. They're about £50 at the moment. You can just build your setup yourself. So this is a titanium pot. These can be anywhere between 20 and 80 pounds if you're having some of the top brands, but you can just get away with a cheap £10 cook set. You just want a pot. Take a pot from home, save a couple of quid, and just steal one of your small saucepans. You can get a little gas burner, something like this. This is the BRS 3000. Me personally, I've never got on with this stove, but it's about £15. You look at people like Liam Brown, go check out his channel. He's hiked thousands of miles and cooked all of his food on one of these stoves, no problem. Weighs about 30 grams, just screws onto the gas canister, light it, and away you go. They only cost about 15 quid, so you can't go wrong really. So stoves and cook sets are also something that you can pick up bargains on Facebook Marketplace. But if you want to go even cheaper, then have a look at an alcohol stove. Something like the Trangia burner is only about £12. You will need a pot stand for it, but you can make one of those out of a little bit of wire. Stoves you can make yourself. So this is a great little alcohol burner made out of a tonic water can. There's loads of videos on the internet on how to make these. It's a lot of fun, and it'll save you a few quid as well. So far we've saved money buying a tent using a discount code or on Gumtree second hand. You've got your £30 rucksack from Facebook, a cheap inflatable mattress with a foam pad underneath it. Hopefully you've found a bargain sleeping bag, and you're about to cook your dinner on a homemade stove. You crack up the stove to boil some water for your dehydrated meal. These things now can cost over £10, which is crazy money. I do like them because they do make things really easy. And they're very lightweight and packable. There's much cheaper alternatives than this. You can just buy some super noodles from your local supermarket. Check out shops like Home Bargains. They've got offers on pot noodles and little packet instant pastas. Reheat some of the chili con carne that you had a couple of days before at home. And if you've made it from scratch, you know what's in it, rather than all of these little ingredients you can't even read. I'll quickly touch on a couple of items of clothing. So this is my Decathlon 4-Class 100 down jacket. I bet I've had this 10 years now. It's got a few war wounds, a little bit of downs come out of that hole there, but it still keeps me warm, and it packs down to virtually nothing. And this at the time cost me about £30 new. I think they've gone up now, about 45, 50. But you can pay £200-300 for lightweight down jackets from some of the high-end brands. Yeah, they might have more updated materials in them. They maybe fit better, but for the money, you can save a lot of money by buying some of the cheaper brands like Northridge or Decathlon. So the same goes for waterproofs. I've got some really expensive Gore-Tex and Event jackets, and they can cost £200 plus. I've seen people that have hiked the Pennine Way or the Appalachian Trail using a £15-20 Frog Togs waterproof coat. Now, it won't have as breathable a material, it might not be as durable, but it's £15-20, and it is really waterproof. And unless you're in the Highlands of Scotland in non-stop torrential rain for days, you just want to be putting a waterproof on in showers really. If that's the case, you can get away with the cheap Frog Togs waterproof jacket and trousers. That isn't me dissing Gore-Tex, by the way. It's just, if you want to save a few quid and you only need something for light showers, then maybe have a look at some of the cheaper stuff out there. If you ask most people, camping is supposed to be a cheap and cheerful activity, but gear is getting more and more expensive, and we as consumers get sucked in by the hype that you need all the latest and greatest lightweight gear. I recommend you go out and check Patrick Dickinson's channel. He regularly goes out camping in some of his gear that is over 20 years old, and it's still performing as well as some of this new stuff that we've got at the moment. Admittedly, he's carrying about half a ton on his back, so fair play to him for that. But it does the job and gets him out there. And it's not the gear that actually makes the trip or the adventure. Hopefully there's a few tips there to help you get through this cost of living in a tent crisis. If you've got any good money saving tips, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Hit that like button, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.